No, in Ruth chapter 3, verse 7, what we read is an ancient Near Eastern courting ritual. It is a courting ritual. The act of laying next to and approaching someone in that way expresses a willingness or an openness or a desire for marital intimacy. But as we can see from the plain text of chapter 4, there was no consummation of the relationship except postmaritally after the nuptial. So no, it was simply a courting ritual. It was not a conjugation in order to become impregnated to obligate him to marry her in any sense of the word. A reading of chapter 4 would dispel that. Also, what we know from the cultural background and the legal background, it just wouldn't have been like that. Marriage would have been the three phases that you see all the way into the New Testament: the betrothal, the nuptial, and the consummation. Now, what you see there in the courting ritual was a proposition of betrothal. That is an ancient equivalent of an engagement. That's all it was. However, he first needed to settle the legal status of a relative closer to him for the right of redemption for something called the Yerusha. That is the inheritance of a dead relative and redeeming. Sorry.
It's okay.
The Yerusha, the right of redemption on behalf of a dead relative and redeeming his name that we read about in the book of Deuteronomy in Levirate marriage. That had to be completely settled legally before there could be a marriage, and the marriage had to be consummated only after the nuptial that we see in chapter 4, where there's adim, witnesses to the relationship. We see the same thing in the Song of Solomon, where the Tzevaot HaShamayim are represented by the witnesses or the adim to the romance and the marriage between Solomon and Shulamit. So the answer is absolutely not. No, it was not anything like a setup to get pregnant in order to force him to marry. Nothing like that at all. My name is Jacob Prasch. Thank you so much for your question. God bless.